When I walked into the investor meeting at my tech startup, the last person I expected to see was Diane's father sitting at the head of the table. My heart stopped. Not because I still had feelings for his daughter who had humiliated me 5 years ago, but because this man held the future of my company in his hands. The same family that once told me I would amount to nothing was now considering a $5 million investment in my artificial intelligence platform. Mr. Hayes looked at me with an expression I could not read. Beside him sat the entire board of Hayes Industries, flipping through my pitch deck with professional interest. I swallowed hard and began my presentation, trying to ignore the fact that every word I spoke would eventually reach Diane's ears. The girl who laughed at my dreams. The girl who called me a foolish dreamer in front of our entire high school. The girl who chose Johnny, the quarterback with the trust fund, over me, the scholarship kid with nothing but ambition and a laptop. 30 minutes later, Mr. Hayes extended his hand across the mahogany table. His grip was firm, his smile genuine. "Welcome to the Hayes Industries portfolio, Thomas. We believe in your vision." My company, Dreamcode Solutions, had just secured the biggest investment of its 3-year existence. I should have felt pure joy. Instead, I felt a strange sense of dread creeping up my spine. Because I knew what came next. Diane would find out. The same Diane who posted on social media 5 years ago with a photo of Johnny's Mercedes, and the caption, "Dating someone with real prospects. Not childish fantasies." The same Diane who told me at graduation that coding in my garage would never compare to Johnny's family business connections. The same Diane who made me feel worthless for chasing what she called impossible dreams. As I packed my presentation materials, Mr. Hayes approached me privately. "Thomas, I want you to know something. My daughter made a mistake 5 years ago. A big one." I did not respond, just nodded politely. But his next words made my blood run cold. "She has been following your progress. Every article. Every small success. She knows she was wrong." I forced a professional smile, thanked him again, and left the building. My phone buzzed before I even reached my car. It was a message from an unknown number. But I knew exactly who it was. "Thomas, we need to talk. Please." Diane. "My name is Thomas Carter. And 5 years ago I was the kid everyone expected to fail. I grew up in the south side of Riverside, where dreams were luxuries most families could not afford. My father worked double shifts at the factory. My mother cleaned houses in the wealthy neighborhoods across town. They sacrificed everything to make sure I got into Riverside Academy, the prestigious private school where I met Diane Hayes. I was 16 when I first saw her. She was sitting in the library, her auburn hair falling perfectly over her shoulder as she studied calculus. I was the new scholarship student, wearing my older cousin's hand-me-down blazer that did not quite fit. Our worlds should never have collided, but they did during a group project in advanced computer science. Diane was smart, incredibly smart, but she struggled with programming logic. I offered to help her, and somehow, through late-night study sessions and shared laughter over syntax errors, we became friends. Then, something more. By junior year, we were dating. At least, I thought we were dating. Looking back now, I realize I was more of a secret than a boyfriend. She never invited me to family dinners, never posted photos of us together, never introduced me to her parents as anything more than a study partner, but I was 17 and in love, so I ignored the signs. I ignored how she would get nervous when her friends from her social circle approached us. I ignored how she would create distance between us at school events. I ignored it all because when we were alone, she made me feel like I mattered. I spent every free moment coding. While other kids were at parties, I was building apps, learning new programming languages, dreaming of creating something that would change the world. Diane would sit with me sometimes, watching me work, asking questions. I thought she was interested. I thought she believed in me. Senior year, everything changed. I had been working on an artificial intelligence project, a virtual assistant that could learn and adapt to user behavior. It was rudimentary, nowhere near what Dreamcode Solutions would eventually create. But for a high school student, it was ambitious. I entered it into the national technology competition, and against all odds, I made it to the finals. I was ecstatic. This was my chance to prove that kids like me, from neighborhoods like mine, could compete with anyone. I told Diane first, expecting her to be excited for me. Instead, she looked uncomfortable. "That is great, Thomas, but you know these competitions rarely lead to anything real, right?" Her words stung, but I brushed them off. She was just being realistic, I told myself. Then came the day that changed everything. It was 3 weeks before the competition finals. I had asked Diane to come with me to the event in San Francisco. My parents could not afford to take time off work, so I was going alone. I wanted her there. I needed her there. We were sitting in my beat-up Honda in the school parking lot when I asked her. She laughed. Not a mean laugh at first, just a surprised one. Thomas, you cannot seriously expect me to spend my weekend watching you play with computers. But I pushed. This is important to me, Diane. This could change my future. Our future. That is when her expression changed. Our future? Thomas, we are 18. There is no our future. You are a sweet guy, but let us be realistic. You are going to community college. I am going to Yale. You are coding in your garage. My father runs a multi-million-dollar investment firm. We were never going to work long-term. I sat there, stunned. So what was this? What have we been doing for 2 years? She sighed, looking almost pitiful. We had fun. You helped me pass, computer science. But come on, you had to know this was not serious. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. Before I could respond, there was a knock on my car window. It was Johnny Parker, the golden boy of Riverside Academy. Tall, handsome, from old money. He opened Diane's door without asking. Ready, babe? We have dinner reservations. Diane stepped out of my car without looking back. I sat there, frozen, as I watched her slip her hand into Johnny's. They walked toward his Mercedes, and I heard her laugh at something he said. That night, she posted the photo. The one with Johnny's car. The caption that destroyed me. Dating someone with real prospects, not childish fantasies. The next Monday at school was torture. Everyone had seen the post. Everyone knew I had been replaced. But it got worse. During lunch, I was sitting alone when Johnny and his friends approached my table. Diane was with them. Hey Thomas, Johnny said loudly, making sure others could hear. No hard feelings. Right. I mean, you had to know Diane was out of your league. I stayed quiet, but he kept going. I heard about your little computer competition. That is cute. Really. But you know what is going to matter in the real world? Connections. Money. Things you do not have. I expected Diane to say something, to defend me, to show some remnant of the girl who used to sit with me while I coded. Instead, she laughed along with them. Johnny is right, Thomas. You are chasing impossible dreams. You should focus on something more realistic. Maybe trade school? Her words were the final blow. I finished high school barely speaking to anyone. I did go to the competition, alone. I did not win, but I placed third and received a small scholarship to State University. I took it and never looked back. I cut off all social media. Blocked Diane's number. Focused entirely on my studies and my projects. While she was at Yale living her perfect life with Johnny, I was working 3 part-time jobs to pay for college, coding until 3 in the morning. Building the foundation for what would eventually become Dream Code Solutions. I used the pain as fuel. Every time I wanted to quit, I remembered her laughter. I remembered being told I would never amount to anything. And I worked harder. I stared at Diane's message for a full minute before deleting it without responding. I had no intention of talking to her. Whatever she wanted to say, I did not need to hear it. 5 years had passed. 5 years of silence. 5 years where she never once reached out to apologize or even acknowledge what she had done. Now, suddenly, because her father invested in my company, she wanted to talk. Absolutely not. I drove back to my small apartment in the tech district. It was not much, just a 1-bedroom place that I had furnished with secondhand furniture, but it was mine. Earned with my own money, built on my own success. My cat, Binary, greeted me at the door, meowing for dinner. As I fed him, my phone buzzed again. This time it was an email. From Diane. With a subject line that made my jaw clench. I'm sorry. Please read this. Against my better judgment, I opened it. Thomas, I know you probably hate me. You have every right to. What I did in high school was cruel and unforgivable. I was young and stupid and cared too much about what other people thought. I let my insecurities and my family's expectations control my decisions. Breaking up with you the way I did, humiliating you publicly, it is the biggest regret of my life. I have watched your success from afar. Every article about Dream Code Solutions, every award you have won, every milestone you have achieved, I am so proud of you, even though I have no right to be. My father's investment is not a coincidence. I told him about you, about your talent, about how brilliant you are. He did his research and agreed. I just want a chance to apologize in person. To explain. Please. Just one coffee. That is all I am asking. Diane. I read it 3 times, each time feeling a different emotion. Anger. Confusion. Suspicion. What did she really want? Why now? I closed my laptop and tried to focus on work, but her words kept echoing in my mind. She told her father about me. She followed my success. She was proud. It all felt too convenient, too calculated. The next morning, I arrived at my office, a small but modern space in a co-working building downtown. My team consisted of 6 people. My best friend and co-founder, Marcus, who handled business operations. 3 talented programmers I had hired fresh out of college. And 2 marketing specialists. We were small but mighty, and the Hayes Industries investment meant we could finally expand. Marcus noticed my mood immediately. You look terrible. What happened? I told him about the investment. About Diane's father. About the messages. Marcus whistled low. Man, that is complicated. What are you going to do? I shook my head. Nothing. I am going to focus on work and ignore her. Marcus gave me a skeptical look. You know she is not going to make it that easy, right? If her family just invested $5 million in us, you are going to have to interact with them. Maybe with her. He was right, and I hated it. That afternoon, I received a calendar invitation for a formal investor meeting scheduled for the following week. Attendees, Mr. Hayes, the Hayes Industries investment team, and Diane Hayes, listed as family business consultant. Of course, she found a way to insert herself into this. Over the next few days, Diane's messages continued. She did not spam me, but every other day, there would be a new text. A simple thinking of you, or hope you are doing well, or I understand if you are not ready to talk. Each message was careful, measured, designed to seem genuine without being pushy. I ignored all of them. Then, 3 days before the investor meeting, something happened that changed everything. I was having lunch at a small cafe near my office when I saw her. Diane. In person. She was standing outside, looking through the window, clearly having spotted me. For a moment, we just stared at each other. She looked different. Older, obviously, but also more polished. Her hair was styled professionally, she wore an expensive-looking navy business suit, and there was a sadness in her eyes that I had never seen before. Before I could decide whether to leave or stay, she walked in. She approached my table slowly, hesitantly. Thomas. Hi. Her voice was soft, nervous. I set down my sandwich. What are you doing here, Diane? I did not mean to ambush you. I was meeting a client nearby and saw you through the window. I could not say hello. I gestured to the empty chair across from me. Fine. Say hello. Then, leave. She sat down carefully, placing her designer handbag on the floor. You look good. Success suits you. I did not return the compliment. What do you want, Diane? Not the investment pitch. Not the apology email. What do you actually want from me? She took a deep breath. I want forgiveness. I want a chance to explain who I was versus who I am now. I want you to know that not a day has gone by where I have not regretted what I did to you. I laughed bitterly. You had 5 years to reach out. 5 years. You chose now, right after your father invested millions in my company. You can see how that looks suspicious, right? Tears welled up in her eyes. I know how it looks. But Thomas, I have tried to reach out before. I sent you messages on social media for the first year after graduation. You blocked me. I wrote letters to your parents' house. I assume you never got them or threw them away. I have been trying to find the courage to contact you directly for years. The investment just forced my hand. I could not let this opportunity pass without trying one more time. I wanted to believe her. Some pathetic part of me that was still that 17-year-old kid in love wanted to believe every word. But I had learned to protect myself. Letters? What letters? She pulled out her phone, scrolled through her photos, and showed me images of handwritten letters. Dated from 5 years ago to as recent as 8 months ago. All addressed to my parents' address. I never received any letters. She nodded slowly. I figured, your mother probably threw them away. I do not blame her. I hurt you. Why would she give you letters from the person who broke your heart? She was not wrong. My mother had always been protective. If she had intercepted letters from Diane, she would have destroyed them without telling me, to protect me from more pain. Diane continued. Thomas, I am not asking you to forget what I did. I am not even asking you to forgive me right now. I just want a chance to show you that I have changed. That I am not the shallow, cruel girl I was in high school. Give me that chance, please. I looked at her for a long moment, studying her face for any sign of deception. All I saw was genuine remorse. Against every instinct screaming at me to walk away, I heard myself say, one chance. That is all you get. That night I could not sleep. I kept replaying the conversation with Diane over and over in my mind. Had I made a mistake by giving her a chance? Was I setting myself up to be hurt again? I sat at my desk, staring at my computer screen, unable to focus on code. Binary jumped onto my lap, purring, sensing my distress. I stroked his fur absently, my mind a battlefield of conflicting emotions. The rational part of me screamed that this was a terrible idea. Diane had destroyed me once. She had laughed at my dreams, humiliated me publicly, and moved on without a second thought. Why should I believe she had changed? People like her did not change. They just got better at manipulation. But then there was another voice, quieter but persistent. The voice that remembered how she used to look at me when we studied together. The voice that remembered her genuine smile before everything fell apart. The voice that wondered if maybe, just maybe, people could grow and learn from their mistakes. I picked up my phone and scrolled through my old blocked contacts until I found her number. I unblocked it, my thumb hovering over her name. Before I could overthink it, I typed a message, coffee. Saturday morning. 9 o'clock. The cafe on 3rd Street, do not be late. Her response came within seconds. I will be there. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much. I tossed my phone aside and tried to convince myself I was doing this for closure, not because some part of me still wondered what if. The next few days crawled by with agonizing slowness. Work should have been a distraction, but instead I found myself constantly checking the clock. Counting down to Saturday. Marcus noticed my distraction during our Thursday team meeting. Dude, you have checked your phone like 15 times in the last hour. What is going on? I sighed. I am meeting Diane on Saturday. Marcus nearly choked on his coffee. You are what? Are you insane? After everything she did to you. I know how it sounds, but I need closure. I need to hear what she has to say, and then I can move on completely. Marcus shook his head. Man, I have known you since freshman year of college. I was there when you were at your lowest because of her. I watched you build yourself back up. Do not let her tear you down again. His concern was genuine, and I appreciated it. I will be careful. I promise. But I have to do this. He reluctantly accepted my decision, but the worry never left his eyes. Friday night I barely slept. I kept having dreams, strange fragmented memories of high school. Diane laughing at something I said. Diane falling asleep on my shoulder while I coded. Diane's face when she told me we were never serious. Diane holding Johnny's hand. I woke up at 5 in the morning. Drenched in sweat, my heart racing. I took a long shower, trying to wash away the anxiety that clung to my skin like humidity. Saturday morning arrived with cruel brightness. The sun was shining, birds were chirping, and I felt like I was walking toward my own execution. I arrived at the cafe 15 minutes early, ordering a black coffee and sitting at a corner table where I could see the entrance. My leg bounced nervously under the table, and I forced myself to stop. At exactly 9 o'clock, Diane walked in. She was wearing jeans and a simple white blouse. Her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked younger like this, less like the polished businesswoman and more like the girl I used to know. She spotted me and smiled nervously, walking over and sitting down across from me. Hi. Hi. Thank you for coming. I did not say you were welcome. I just nodded, sipping my coffee, waiting for her to begin. She ordered a green tea and then took a deep breath. I do not even know where to start. There is so much I want to say. Start with why. Why did you do it? Why humiliate me like that? She flinched at my directness but did not look away. Because I was a coward. Because I cared more about my reputation than about you. Because my parents, especially my mother, had very specific expectations about who I should date, and you did not fit that image. She continued, her voice shaking slightly. My mother came from old money, and she drilled into me from childhood that our social standing was everything. When I started dating you, I kept it secret because I knew she would disapprove. And I was ashamed of myself for caring what she thought, but I did. I cared so much that I hurt the one person who truly saw me for who I was. I felt anger rising in my chest. So Johnny fit the image? Mr. Trust Fund with his perfect pedigree. She nodded, tears forming in her eyes. Yes. Johnny was everything my mother wanted. Wealthy family, right connections, promising future in business. But he was also shallow, selfish, and emotionally abusive. I did not realize that until it was too late. My anger faltered slightly. What do you mean? She wiped her eyes. We dated for 3 years. The first year was fine, surface level perfect. But then he became controlling. He would criticize everything I did, compare me to other women, make me feel like I was never good enough. He would go through my phone, question every male friend I had, isolate me from people he deemed inappropriate. When I got into Yale, He insisted I turn it down and go to the same school as him, so he could keep an eye on me. I did. I gave up my dream school for him. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and sympathy. Satisfaction because karma had caught up with her, but sympathy because no one deserved to be treated that way. So what happened? We broke up 2 years ago. He cheated on me with one of my sorority sisters, and when I confronted him, he told me I should be grateful. Anyone wanted to date me at all, that I was lucky he put up with me for so long. It shattered me. I went to therapy, worked on myself, finished my business degree, and started working with my father. And through all of that, I kept thinking about you. About how different things could have been if I had just been brave enough to choose you. I sat back, processing everything. Part of me wanted to feel vindicated. To say she got what she deserved. But another part, the part that remembered caring about her, just felt sad. I am sorry that happened to you. But Diane, you cannot expect me to just forget 5 years of pain because you finally realized you made a mistake. I am not asking you to forget. I am asking you to let me try to make amends. To prove that I have changed. I do not expect anything from you. No relationship, no friendship even. Just a chance to show you that I am not that person anymore. I looked into her eyes, searching for deception, for hidden motives. All I saw was genuine regret and hope. Fine. You can try. But I am not promising anything. If at any point I feel like you are playing games or manipulating me, I am done. No second chances after this. She smiled through her tears. That is all I am asking for. Thank you, Thomas. We sat there for another hour, talking carefully about safer topics. Her work with her father's company. My progress with Dream Code. Solutions. General life updates. It was awkward and stilted, but it was a start. As we left the cafe, she turned to me. Can I ask you something? Sure. Did you ever think about me? Over the past 5 years. I hesitated, then decided on honesty. Every day for the first 2 years, then less and less as time went on. By year 5. Only when something reminded me of high school. She nodded slowly. That is fair. That is more than I deserve. We parted ways, and I walked back to my car feeling emotionally exhausted. I did not know what I had just started, but there was no turning back now. My phone buzzed. It was Marcus. So, how did it go? I typed back. I honestly have no idea. As I drove home, I could not shake the feeling that I had just opened a door I might not be able to close. And I was not sure if that terrified me or gave me hope. The investor meeting on Tuesday was professional and straightforward. Mr. Hayes brought his entire team, including Diane, who sat quietly taking notes throughout the presentation. I walked them through our expansion plans, the new AI features we were developing, and our projected growth over the next 2 years. Mr. Hayes asked intelligent questions, clearly someone who had done his homework. Diane remained mostly silent, only speaking up once to ask about our user retention rates. I answered professionally, maintaining eye contact briefly before moving on. After the meeting, as everyone was packing up, Mr. Hayes pulled me aside. Thomas, I want you to know that this investment has nothing to do with my daughter's history with you. Your company has real potential, and that is what matters to me. I appreciate that, sir. I have always kept business and personal matters separate. He nodded approvingly. Good man. However, I do want to mention that Diane will be your primary point of contact for Hayes Industries. She handles all of our tech investments. I hope that will not be a problem. My stomach dropped, but I kept my expression neutral. Of course not. Whatever is best for the business. As Mr. Hayes walked away, Diane approached me hesitantly. I know what you are thinking. That I manipulated this somehow. But I promise, my father assigned me to your account because it is literally my job. I manage all tech sector investments for the company. I wanted to believe her. But the timing felt too convenient. Fine. But let us keep everything strictly professional. No personal conversations during business hours. She agreed quickly. Absolutely. I understand. Over the next 2 weeks, Diane and I had 3 scheduled business calls and 1 in-person meeting to review financial projections. She was professional, knowledgeable, and surprisingly helpful. She connected me with potential clients in her network, introduced me to other investors, and provided valuable strategic advice. Despite my determination to keep things strictly business, I found myself slowly warming to her again. Then came the moment that changed everything. It was a Friday evening, and I was working late at the office. Everyone else had gone home, and I was alone, debugging a particularly stubborn piece of code. My phone rang. It was Diane, but this was not her business number. It was her personal cell. I almost did not answer, but curiosity won. Hello. Thomas, I am so sorry to call you like this, but I need help. Her voice was shaking, panicked. What is wrong? It is Johnny. He showed up at my apartment. He is drunk and banging on my door, screaming at me. I am scared. I already called the police, but they said it will be 20 minutes before someone can get here. I do not know who else to call. Every logical part of my brain told me to stay out of it, to tell her to call her father or a friend, but I heard genuine fear in her voice, and before I could stop myself, I said, "Send me your address. I will be there in 10 minutes. I grabbed my keys and drove faster than I probably should have. When I arrived at her apartment building, I could hear shouting from the parking lot. 3rd floor, apartment 312. I took the stairs 2 at a time. When I reached her floor, I saw him. Johnny Parker, older but still recognizable, pounding on her door. Diane, open this damn door. We need to talk. You cannot just ignore me. I approached cautiously. Johnny. She does not want to talk to you. Leave. He spun around, his eyes bloodshot, clearly intoxicated. And who the hell are you? Her new boyfriend. Then recognition flashed across his face. Wait. I know you. You are that loser from high school. Thomas Carter. He laughed mockingly. Oh, this is perfect. She downgraded from me to you. I kept my voice calm. The police are on their way. You need to leave before you make this worse for yourself. He staggered toward me. You think you are better than me now? Because you made some money with your little computer games? I am still worth 10 of you. Before I could respond, he swung at me. I dodged, but his fist grazed my shoulder. I did not fight back, just backed away, trying to keep distance between us. Johnny, stop. This is not worth it. He came at me again, but this time his foot caught on the carpet and he stumbled. Just then, the door to Diane's apartment opened. She stood there, phone in hand, recording. Johnny, I have everything on video. The threats, the assault. The police will be here any minute. Leave now or I am pressing charges. Something in her voice, cold and authoritative, seemed to cut through his drunken haze. He looked between us, sneered, and then stumbled toward the stairs. This is not over. Diane. You are going to regret leaving me. We watched him disappear down the stairwell. Diane immediately turned to me, her hands shaking. Are you okay? Did he hurt you? I am fine. Just a glancing blow. Are you okay? She nodded, but I could see she was barely holding it together. The police arrived minutes later. Diane showed them the video, gave a statement, and they went to find Johnny. After they left, Diane turned to me, tears streaming down her face. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I did not know who else to call, and I knew you would help me even after everything. I should not have, but I did. You need better locks on your door. And a restraining order. She nodded. I will take care of it Monday. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you come? After everything I did to you, why did you help me? I thought about it for a moment. Because nobody deserves to be scared in their own home. Because despite everything, I am not the kind of person who ignores someone in trouble. And because some part of me still cares about you, even though I wish I did not. She stepped closer to me, looking up into my eyes. Thomas, I know I have said this before, but I need you to really hear me. I am so sorry. For everything. For hurting you, for choosing him, for being too weak to stand up for us. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. I felt my walls crumbling, the anger I had held onto for 5 years slowly dissolving. Maybe people could change. Maybe forgiveness was possible. I do not know what this is between us right now. I do not know if we can ever be friends or if there is any possibility of more. But I am willing to try to move forward. Not backward. Forward. She smiled through her tears. Forward sounds perfect. 3 months passed after the incident with Johnny. Diane got her restraining order, upgraded her security, and slowly, carefully, we began rebuilding some form of relationship. It started with weekly coffee meetings that were half business, half personal, then occasional dinners after work meetings, then weekend hangouts where we would visit bookstores or try new restaurants. It felt like dating, but neither of us labeled it. We were both too afraid of jinxing whatever was developing between us. Dream Code Solutions was thriving. The Hayes Industries investment had allowed us to hire 10 new employees, expand our office space, and accelerate our product development. We were featured in Tech Innovation magazine as one of the top 10 startups to watch. My parents finally retired, and I bought them a house in a quiet neighborhood they had always dreamed of. Everything in my life was falling into place. Except I could not figure out what I felt about Diane. Some days I looked at her and felt nothing but warmth and possibility. Other days I looked at her and remembered the pain, the humiliation, the years I spent rebuilding myself. Marcus noticed my internal struggle. You are falling for her again. I can see it. I denied it at first. But he was right. I was falling, and it terrified me. One evening, Diane and I were having dinner at an upscale Italian restaurant. We had just finished discussing a potential partnership with another tech company when she reached across the table and took my hand. Thomas, I need to tell you something. Okay. I am falling in love with you. Again. Or maybe I never stopped. I do not know. But I needed you to know. My heart raced. Diane, Before I could finish, my phone buzzed. It was Marcus. Emergency. Call me now. I excused myself and stepped outside. Marcus, what is wrong? Dude, you need to see this. Check your email. Now. I opened my email app, and my blood ran cold. There was a message from an anonymous sender with the subject line, "The truth about Diane Hayes." I opened it, and what I saw made my stomach drop. It was a series of screenshots. Text messages between Diane and someone named Anna from 4 months ago. Right around the time her father first invested in my company. The messages were damning. Anna, I am telling you, this is the perfect plan. I get close to Thomas again, make him think I have changed, and once he trusts me, I can convince him to sell Dream Code to one of our partner companies. Dad already has buyers lined up. We can triple our investment. Anna's response, are you sure you can pull this off? What if he does not fall for it? Diane, please. I know, Thomas. He is still that same naive kid who believed in true love and second chances. He wants to believe people can change. I will give him exactly what he wants to see. Another message, dated 2 months ago, it is working. He is softening. Give me another month and I will have him completely under my spell. Then we move in for the acquisition. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. Everything, all of it, had been a lie. A calculated manipulation. I walked back into the restaurant, my hands shaking. Diane looked up at me with concern. Thomas, what is wrong? You look pale. I held up my phone, showing her the screenshots. Her face went white. Where did you get those? Is it true? Just answer the question. Is it true? She opened her mouth, closed it, then said quietly. It is not what it looks like. That is all I needed to hear. I threw cash on the table for the bill and walked out. She followed me into the parking lot. Thomas, please, let me explain. Explain what? That you have been playing me this entire time? That every apology, every vulnerable moment, every emotion was just part of some corporate scheme? Tears streamed down her face. Those messages were from when I first suggested investing in your company. Yes, initially, my father and I discussed the possibility of eventually acquiring Dream Code. But Thomas, everything changed. I changed. The more time I spent with you, the more I remembered why I fell for you in the first place. I stopped thinking about business and started thinking about us. I laughed bitterly. How convenient, and I am supposed to just believe that. Do you have any idea what you have done? I let you back in. I let myself trust you again. And this whole time you were planning to destroy everything I built. I was not planning to destroy anything. The acquisition would have been good for you, for your company. You would have made millions. This is not about money. I shouted, not caring who heard us. This is about you looking at me and seeing a target instead of a person. This is about you using my feelings against me. Again. She reached for me, but I stepped back. Thomas. I love you. I really do. Whatever those messages say, whatever my intentions were at the beginning, they changed. You changed me. Please believe me. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to so badly. But I had been fooled before. I will not let you do this to me again. We are done. Professionally and personally. I will have Marcus handle all future communications with Hayes Industries. Stay away from me, Diane. I got in my car and drove away, watching her crying figure disappear in my rearview mirror. When I got home, I sat in darkness for hours, trying to process everything. My phone rang constantly. Diane calling, texting, leaving voicemails. I ignored all of it. Around midnight, there was a knock on my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Anna. I opened the door cautiously. Can I help you? My name is Anna Chen. I am the one who sent you those screenshots. Why? She looked uncomfortable. Because you deserve to know the truth. But there is more to the story than what those messages showed. Can I come in? Against my better judgment, I let her in. She sat down and pulled out her phone. I have known Diane since college. We were roommates, best friends. When she started dating Johnny, I watched him destroy her confidence piece by piece. After they broke up, she was a mess. She went to therapy, worked on herself, but she was still carrying so much guilt about you. About how she treated you. When her father decided to invest in your company, yes, there were discussions about eventually acquiring it. That is business. But Diane never wanted to manipulate you. She wanted a chance to apologize, to make things right. Those messages I sent you, I took them out of context. I made them look worse than they were. Why would you do that? Anna looked down. Because I am in love with her. I have been for years. When she started spending all her time with you, talking about you constantly, falling for you again, I got jealous. I wanted to ruin it. I wanted her to focus on me instead. So, I manipulated those screenshots, sent them to you anonymously, hoping you would push her away. She started crying. I am a terrible person. I know. But I could not stand watching her be happy with you when I have loved her all this time. She does not even know I am here. She does not know I sent those messages. Please, if you care about her at all, do not tell her it was me. I felt disgusted. Get out of my house. Thomas, please. Get out. Now. Or, I am calling the police. She left quickly, and I sat there, trying to make sense of everything. Had I made a mistake? Were the messages really taken out of context? I pulled them up again, reading them more carefully this time. I noticed the dates. The messages Anna sent me were from 4 months ago, right at the beginning. There were no recent messages. No evidence that Diane was still planning any kind of manipulation. I opened my laptop and looked at the original email. The sender had used a temporary email service that was untraceable. But Anna had access to Diane's phone. Her messages. She could have easily taken screenshots and twisted them to fit her narrative. I grabbed my keys and drove to Diane's apartment. It was 1 a.m. But I did not care. I knocked on her door, and she opened it immediately. Her eyes red and swollen from crying. Thomas. I need to know the truth. The complete truth. No more games, no more hiding. If you lie to me right now, we are done forever. Do you understand? She nodded. Ask me anything. Did you initially plan to manipulate me into selling my company? She took a deep breath. Yes. When my father first proposed investing in Dream Code, he mentioned that if the company performed well, we could acquire it within a few years. That is standard venture capital strategy. I saw it as an opportunity to maybe reconnect with you on a professional level. Was there a personal motivation too? Yes. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to see if you were doing okay. I wanted closure for myself. But I swear to you, the moment we started talking again, the moment I saw who you had become, all thoughts of business disappeared. I fell in love with you, Thomas. The real kind. The kind where I do not care about money or status or what anyone thinks. The kind where I just want you to be happy. Even if it is not with me. I looked into her eyes, searching for any hint of deception. All I saw was raw honesty and pain. Anna came to see me tonight. She admitted she sent those messages. That she manipulated them to make you look worse. Diane's eyes widened. What? Anna did that. Why? Because she is in love with you. And she was jealous. Diane sat down heavily, processing this information. I had no idea. I never thought. We sat in silence for a moment. Then I made a decision. I believe you. But Diane, if we are going to try this, really try this, I need complete honesty. No more secrets, no more manipulation. If at any point business conflicts with personal, we address it head on. Deal? She smiled through fresh tears. Deal. I pulled her into my arms, and for the first time in 5 years, I felt complete. 6 months later, Dream Code Solutions received an acquisition offer. Not from Hayes Industries, but from one of the biggest tech companies in the world. They were offering $50 million for full ownership. It was life-changing money. Retirement money. Generational wealth money. Marcus and I sat in our conference room, staring at the offer letter. This is it, man. This is what we have been working toward. I nodded slowly. But I did not build this company to sell it. I built it because I love what we do. What do you want to do? I want to turn them down and keep building. Marcus grinned. I was hoping you would say that. We declined the offer and instead focused on aggressive expansion. With Hayes Industries backing and the connections Diane had helped facilitate, we secured partnerships with major corporations. Within a year, Dream Code Solutions had tripled in value and employed over 60 people. We moved into a real office building, a beautiful space with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city. The day we moved in, I stood in my new office, looking out at the skyline. My assistant knocked on the door. Mr. Carter. There is someone here to see you. No appointment, but she says it is important. Send her in. I expected Diane, but instead, an older woman walked in. She was elegant, perfectly dressed, with an expression that could freeze lava. I recognized her immediately from old photos. Diane's mother, Vivian Hayes. Mr. Carter, thank you for seeing me. I gestured to a chair. Mrs. Hayes. To what do I owe this visit? She sat down gracefully, studying me with sharp eyes. I came to discuss my daughter. I see. She tells me you two are dating. That it is serious. That is correct. Mrs. Hayes' expression did not change. I will be direct. Mr. Carter. I did not approve of you 5 years ago, and while I acknowledge you have achieved a certain level of success, I still do not think you are appropriate for my daughter. I felt anger rising but kept my voice calm. With all due respect, Mrs. Hayes, Diane is an adult. She makes her own choices, and I am not asking for your approval. I am telling you that I am going to ask her to marry me. Whether you approve or not. She raised an eyebrow. Marriage. How presumptuous. Do you really think you can make her happy? You come from nothing. You have no family connections, no social standing. Yes, you have money now, but money comes and goes. Breeding and class are forever. I stood up. This meeting is over. Mrs. Hayes, I respect that you are Diane's mother, but I will not sit here and be insulted in my own office. Your daughter chose me, not because of money or status or connections, but because I treat her with respect and love her for who she is, not what she represents. That is something you clearly never taught her. She stood as well, her composure finally cracking slightly. You have no idea what is best for her. Actually, I do. Because unlike you, I listen to her. I see her. I value her opinions and her dreams. You tried to control every aspect of her life, and look where that got her. In an abusive relationship with Johnny because he checked all your superficial boxes. I am not making that mistake. She looked at me with something between anger and grudging respect. You are more bold than I expected. If you hurt her, if you embarrass this family, I will destroy you and your little company. I will spend every resource I have making sure you regret it. I met her gaze without flinching. If I hurt her, I will deserve whatever you do to me. But I have no intention of hurting her. Now please leave. After she left, I sat down, adrenaline pumping through my veins. My phone buzzed. It was Diane. My mother just called me. She met with you. Apparently, she threatened me and my company. Diane groaned. I am so sorry. I did not know she was going to do that. I told her about us last week, and she has been weird ever since. It is fine. I handled it. There was a pause. Then Diane said softly, what did you tell her? I told her I was going to ask you to marry me. Silence on the other end. Then, breathlessly, did you mean it? Meet me at our cafe. 3rd Street. 1 hour. I will give you my answer then. I hung up and immediately called Marcus. I need the ring. The one I asked you to hold on to. He laughed. Finally. I will bring it to your office right now. An hour later, I was sitting at our corner table in the cafe, where we had our first reconciliation coffee. Diane walked in, looking nervous and hopeful. She sat down across from me. Thomas, you do not have to do this just because of what you told my mother. I am not doing it because of your mother. I am doing it because I want to. I reached across the table and took her hand. Diane, 5 years ago, you broke my heart. You made me feel worthless and small. I spent years building myself back up, convincing myself I did not need anyone. Especially not you. But the truth is, these past months with you have been the happiest I have been in years. You have shown me that people can change. That forgiveness is possible. That love deserves second chances. I pulled out the ring box. I am not that naive kid from high school anymore. I am not going to let you or anyone else define my worth. But I am also not going to let past hurt keep me from future happiness. So, Diane Hayes, will you marry me? Tears streamed down her face as she nodded. Yes. Yes, 1,000 times yes. I slipped the ring on her finger. And she laughed through her tears. It is perfect. How long have you been planning this? Since about 2 months after we got back together. I knew then that I wanted forever with you. We kissed, and the few other customers in the cafe clapped. As we left, walking hand in hand down the street, Diane suddenly stopped. Thomas, I need you to know something. What? My mother is never going to fully accept you. My family has certain expectations, and there will always be tension. I can handle tension. What I cannot handle is dishonesty. She squeezed my hand. No more dishonesty. I promise. Just us against the world. Just us against the world. 1 year later, we got married. It was a small ceremony, despite Vivian Hayes' insistence on a large society wedding. We invited close friends and family only. My parents cried happy tears. Mr. Hayes gave a touching speech about how wrong he had been about me initially. Even Vivian managed to smile, though I suspected it pained her. Marcus was my best man, and in his toast, he said, "I watched Thomas build himself from nothing, survive heartbreak, and create something incredible. Not just a company, but a life. And Diane, you better take care of him, because if you hurt him again, you will have to answer to all of us." Everyone laughed, but there was truth in his words. As Diane and I had our first dance, she whispered, "Do you ever regret giving me a second chance?" I thought about it. Honestly. Sometimes I wonder what my life would have been like if I had never seen you again. If I had just moved on completely. And then I realized that this, right here, is exactly where I am supposed to be. Some stories do not get happy endings, but ours did, not because it was easy, but because we both chose to fight for it. She rested her head on my chest. "I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret choosing me." I kissed the top of her head. "I know you will." Months turned into years. Dream Code Solutions went public, making Marcus and me incredibly wealthy. We donated heavily to programs that helped underprivileged kids get into tech. I never forgot where I came from. Diane and I bought a house, adopted 2 cats, and built a life filled with love, respect, and partnership. Sometimes I would see old high school classmates and they would ask how I ended up with Diane Hayes after everything that happened. I would smile and say, "People change." And sometimes, the best revenge is not bitterness, but building a life so good that the past does not matter anymore. One evening, 5 years into our marriage, we were sitting on our back porch, watching the sunset. Diane turned to me. "Do you know what I am most grateful for?" "What?" "That you gave me a chance to prove I had changed, that you saw past the worst version of me and believed in the person I could become." I took her hand. "And I am grateful that you worked hard to become that person. That you did not just ask for forgiveness, but showed me through your actions that you meant it." She leaned her head on my shoulder. We were quiet for a moment, then she said, "I heard Johnny got arrested again, drunk and disorderly." I shook my head. "That is his path, not ours. Not anymore." She smiled. "Not anymore." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, I realized that this was the ultimate victory. Not destroying the people who hurt me, but building something so beautiful that their opinions became irrelevant. Not holding on to bitterness, but choosing growth. Not letting the past define me, but letting it shape me into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of love. Thomas Carter, the kid from the South Side, who was told he would never amount to anything, had built an empire. Not just in business, but in life. And that, I thought as I held my wife close, was the best revenge of all.